Hello there, folks, and welcome back to Bullets for Bucks. My name's Steven Bresnaugh, and today I'm super excited to bring you something that we just got here in the shop, and that was bought at full price by me, so this was not sent as a T&E sample from the company. So we're going to give you a fair and balanced review, and this is the Ravin Crossbow, the R500. This is the fastest ever produced crossbow that you can get from a factory. So there might be some custom crossbows that people have made out there that can go faster, but this is the fastest factory produced crossbow on the market to date. And it shoots a 400 grain arrow with a 100 grain field point or broadhead at approximately 500 feet per second. And that's right, the numbers are actually coming in. It's actually shooting 500 feet per second or just above 500 feet per second. Now, let's go over some of the basic specs, then I'll go over fit and feel, and then some negatives, because I do have a couple negatives I want to give you guys about this crossbow. First, it shoots at 500 feet per second. Like I said, it is 8.4 pounds, so a little hefty. Length is 28 inches long, so very, very short, end to end, very compact. Width of the axle to axle width, cocked is only 3.6 inches. That's freaking insane. If you can see, this is uncocked, and uncocked is 7.6 inches, so it's still incredibly narrow even when uncocked. The power stroke on this is 15 inches. The kinetic energy is 222 foot-pounds. Draw effort is 17 pounds, and by the way, you can't draw this. It comes with a crank system with dual pins that you have to use. So you cannot hand load this. It does take a little bit longer to load the crossbow, to pull it back, to draw it, because you're either using a hand crank, or you can get the R500E, which comes with an electronic lithium-ion powered battery crank system, so you can electronically crank and load this and unload it. One nice thing is that you can unload this either with the electric pack or by hand with the hand crank safely, and you don't have to actually shoot a bolt to do that, which is good because the bolts are not cheap. The draw weight on this is 300 pounds, and it features the versadraw draw system, like all of the Ravin crossbows. It's fully assembled and pre-tuned from the factory, but I will go over that in a second because there's some things you probably should check before shooting it. It comes with 6 Ravin .003 R500 arrows, and it comes with 1 removable draw handle, 1 quiver that's removable, and the bracket. And it comes with a 100-yard illuminated reticle, and I believe you can get this in a sniper package as well, with a higher quality scope that comes with a turret that you can actually adjust, and it's marked for yardages if you want to. And then it has anti-dry fire auto safety, like most crossbows out there on the market today, and it comes with built-in sling studs. So now let's go over some more of the details here a little bit closer up. As you can see, it has this very nice, I would call it a recoil pad, but butt pad. There's no recoil really here because, why, it's a crossbow. It comes with nice butt pad though either way. It's rubberized. Comes with this fitting right here on either side, and that's where the versadraw crank handle goes to cock this thing back. Then it features an ambidextrous safety, and I cannot put it on fire because it is not cocked. This is all aluminum components here, no plastic whatsoever. In fact, all I can find on this thing is pretty much, apart from the pistol grip being what appears to be high quality plastic, this thing is pretty much all high quality aluminum, metal, and some rubber components. I mean, like there's a plastic piece here on the buttstock, a little cheek riser right here that's rubber, but most of this is made out of high quality metal components. So it has, like I said, a nice buttstock. Then it has your whole rail that goes along here. And what you'll notice right here in the middle here is this has a almost full-length Picatinny rail that is 1 inch long and has full-length slots. I really like that that's built in. You don't have to worry about buying a scope rail for this or a scope base for this. And it does come with rings and the scope on all models. One thing that's really nice is in this, like, I will say, like, rail part right here where the arrow sits or the bolt sits, it's all enclosed, and that's for added safety. Then it comes down and you have this really nice high quality ergonomic pistol grip. It feels great in the hands. It's rubberized right here. It's got some grooves in it for your fingers to fit into it. Really nice feeling. And then you have this really nice, almost straight blade. I'd say that's pretty much straight blade. It's got a slight curve to it. All aluminum, orange accented trigger blade that just feels great. And by the way, this thing is advertised to have a really nice, crisp, clean trigger for a crossbow. And then coming forward, you have this really nice forearm, or I should say forend grip here. Super beefy rubberized grip. You can put this and clamp this into what's the name of that? A bog death grip tripod mount or something like that, which is nice. Just beefy, super overdeveloped. This is, though, plastic. Then it has a really nice finger guard right here built in on either side, so you don't accidentally get your fingers up into the rail system and lose a finger when this thing goes off, because you would. And then it has this nice quiver that clips in and out of here. And the way this works, I'll push in firmly and pull that out, and then it goes in, and it's got this spring-loaded clasp right here. You push in on this little lever to release it, push it in, and it's quite firm. Actually, it's got a dual attachment system here, so on one side goes your quick release quiver, and on the other side goes your crank handle for the VersaDrive system. Then coming forward, you have this really nice beefy all aluminum frame. I mean, this thing is insanely beefy. This is not a cheap crossbow. This isn't a crossbow that is made saving costs at all. These are high quality components, high quality limbs, all held together with either Allen head screws or Torx head screws, by the way. But anyways, let's go back now, check out the scope. The scope rings right here are made of all metal, of course, and they are probably what would be considered high rings, so they're a little bit high. They're held in with 4 Torx head screws on the top, and then they're held in with these bolts and screws right on the side here. Like I said, it features a 100-yard illuminated reticle scope here. The scope has your feet per second markings right here, so you can adjust this to the appropriate feet per second. So you adjust that right to 500. It's smooth, there's no grit or grime. It comes with scope covers, which is nice, flip up scope covers. Not super high quality ones, but they work. Comes with the scope here that is illuminated, like I said. You got your elevation and windage adjustment. One click is a 1/2 inch at 100 yards. And they are finger adjustable. They are tactile and audible. Not amazing, but definitely not the cheapest I've seen. Then on this side is your illumination settings, and it has 9 illumination settings, both green and red. So now, holding this up that long, let's start with weight. It's a little heavy. It's a little bit heavy. 8.4 pounds. And that might not be including the scope. It might be. I don't know for sure. But 8.4 pounds is quite a bit for a crossbow to shoot, you know, standing comfortably. And it's super short, so it's balanced very nicely. So even though it's 8.4 pounds, you don't have a ton of weight on your forearm, on your off arm, I should say, on your left hand or your forend arm. And so it's still really easy to balance, really easy to shoot standing. So it's not a huge deal, but that is something to note. Another thing I noticed is that even though it came from a, I guess, certified retailer for Ravin, so it came from Shields, some of the screws, now like the important screws that hold on your limbs were tight, that hold on the rail system were tight, but the screws that hold the scope on, that hold the scope rings on, were not to Torx spec. They were randomly loose or tight, depending on which one you checked. And the scope wasn't level. So huge fail there on Shields' part, more so than Ravin. And Ravin needs to make sure they're holding their retailers at a high standard, because this is not a budget crossbow. Another thing to note when I got it from Shields was that it was missing 3 of the bolts or arrows, and it was missing the VersaDrive handle. So I couldn't shoot it. It was missing the VersaDrive handle, and it was thrown in a box with some bubble wrap around it. And for a crossbow that costs almost as much as a freaking car or a truck, in fact, it does cost as much as my first truck, that's ridiculous. This thing should come with a free case, and it doesn't. It comes with not even a soft case. So at its price point, it should come with at least a soft case. You have to buy an aftermarket hard case for $300. And by the way, everything for this crossbow is basically proprietary. You have to buy their stuff to shoot it. So you can't like buy aftermarket bolts from some other company. You can't buy a different cocking system. You can't buy a different case. Everything is specific to this, which makes it very costly to shoot. The bolts are you have to get bolts that are rated R500 only, so they're a little bit more beefy. They have a higher quality than the normal bolts. Let's go ahead and take a look right here. The bolts come with a fitting that is made for higher impact on both the tip end and the knock end. So it comes with these high quality, high impact brass fittings that are more beefy than a normal Ravin bolt. You know, this is a nice quiver. Let's talk about it real quick. It comes with 3 notches in it, so it's easy to attach and detach, and you can hold 3 bolts in it nicely. It is just made of plastic though, so nothing really to write home about. That being said, let's go back to some of the issues here. So a crossbow that costs as much as this does should come with a free case, period. And it should come with some broadheads, because the broadheads to use in this, now those are one of the only things that you can use aftermarket broadheads, but most broadheads aren't going to stand up to the velocity, the feet per second, and the impact that this is going to thrust into something. So it's best to stay with their broadheads, but their broadheads are about 2 to 3 times the cost of a normal crossbow's broadheads. The bolts are 2 to 3, actually they're 3 times the cost of your average bolts for a normal crossbow. So yeah, it's crazy expensive. The bolts are 3 times the price of a normal crossbow bolt. The broadheads, if you want to get the right broadheads, are about 2 to 3 times the price of normal broadheads. To buy a case that fits this is about $300 for the hardcover one. I'm not sure on the soft, but it should come with at least a soft one for free at its price point, if you ask me. And let's go back to the scope now. So the scope is pretty cheap. The glass is okay. It's a little bit better than a budget crossbow, but it's nothing to write home about. The caps and turrets are average. You know, really the component there is not up to par with the cost of this crossbow. It should have a scope that's about twice as good as the scope that's on it. And I understand you can get the sniper package with a special dial, adjustment dial for elevation that's marked and all that. But really, at this price point, they should all come with that. They should come with better glass, better tube construction, and a better scope, period. And better rings. These rings are pathetic. They're super, super cheap rings. They're just pathetic rings. They should come with a high quality ring at the cost or price point of this crossbow. The things that I do like about it is it's super compact. It uses that hex coil design where these can rotate 360 degrees when cocked. So super, super narrow, super, super compact and short. Still not too heavy to use. Has great balance, great ergonomics, great feel. Has awesome, these nice, I forget what they're called exactly, but it has 2 basically full length screws or drivers that this thing cocks on. So it's super beefy cocking system and uncocking system. Really, really like that. And overall, looking forward to do another review video on this crossbow where we'll go over how well it shoots out to 100 yards or possibly even beyond. It's advertised feet per second rate versus what we get in the field, and just more of its performance. But bottom line, if you get this crossbow, go over every single Torx head screw and Allen screw on this thing. Make sure that it's torqued down appropriately. Make sure the scope rings are torqued down appropriately. The scope top of the ring is mounted down correctly or torqued down correctly. Make sure the scope is level. And if I was you, I would complain to the company and say, hey, look, you need to include some broadheads and you need to include a case. At this price point, this thing should come with a hard cover case, period. I mean, it just should. But overall, an amazing product with amazing engineering, and I look forward to bringing you another video on this.